Hey guys, ghazzyTV here with another Path of Exile guide video or explanation video. I'm not sure what to call this one. Today I'm going to talk about how I make currency every league. Now I haven't been focusing that much on making currency, but we've got about 1,066 Exalteds. I sold the mirrors to get this because I figured it would look pretty nice. So I'm going to explain to you guys how I make my currency and how you can avoid making mistakes that makes you run broke in the game to not have any currency at all. And it's very straightforward. It's basically the same thing as you would do in real life, but with a couple of different approaches to it. So I'm going to try to do my best to explain how I make currency. And before continuing, I just want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed and likes and comment the videos. It really helps me out with the algorithms. Thanks so much to everyone who's doing that. However, in the descriptions below, there is links to my crafting guide series. There's also a link to how you can flip currency or flip items and currencies and other things in the game as well to make insane profits as well. So all of that will be in the descriptions below. However, the way I make currency is not by flipping. I'm not personally a big fan of it. It is a very comfortable way to make currency. However, a great example of flipping, I'm just going to give you a quick TLDR of it, which will be in detail in the video in the descriptions, of course. So if you look at something that's been very popular in a couple of leagues now, it's been Essence of Horrors. If you buy them separately, they are, well, that's a price fixer, so they are going for about 41 chaos. Let's say 42 chaos per purchase. So if you buy or sell one Essence of Horror, that would be 42 chaos. However, the way flipping works in games compared to how purchasing a product in real life is very different. Because in real life, you have a company that manufactures a product and then sells it. So they have a production cost, shipping cost and all that, and then they have a margin between the end price of that to their selling price, and that margin is their profit. So if a company or a person would then, let's take an example, a company creates sex dolls and sells that. They manufacture sex dolls and they sell them for $100, and then someone basement dweller from Reddit wants to purchase 1,000 sex dolls for whatever reason, then the company is then able to give them a discount for purchasing that many in a bulk, because they can then take off a discount on their profit margin and still make money doing that. However, in games like Path of Exile, where trading is very annoying, it's very different, because in a case where you want to buy a higher bulk of something, you are basically in a situation where the seller can charge higher for the convenience that the person that are trying to buy them don't have to contact that many other people to purchase them. So if you buy, for example, Essence of Horror for 42 chaos per piece, and you look at the price of how they would be priced if you have a person selling 10 of them, you can see that the price is already up to 45 chaos. Now these margins are very small, because I've been talking about this specifically, so I'm guessing a lot of people are doing it. The more people are flipping, the less the profit margin is. But as you can see, that after these 36, 50 something is being sold, they're already up at 49 chaos. And this goes for every currency in the game. It can be for fossils, resonators, other types of essences. The more popular the craft material is, the less the profit margin is. So usually when you look at orbs like chromatics or one-socket resonators, or even the common dense fossils or any other of the common fossils, the profit margin is very small, and you usually have to go up to higher bulks before they become noticeably profitable. But Essence of Horror is one of the common ones that are sold for quite a lot. Glyphic fossils is another one. So flipping is basically done by buying low, selling high, which is the TLDR version of it. But instead of just telling you that you should buy them low and sell them high, I'm actually explaining how you do that. And that is basically buy them separately and then selling them in a bulk. And in the video in the description, I'm also showing you how to set up buy orders to basically make the purchasing of them automatic for you, so you don't have to worry about that either. So that's the flipping version of making currency, but that is not how I made my currency. I am making currency strictly from profit crafting. I do this every league. Every league I do profit crafts. And the problem with profit crafts is often in a situation where I can tell you that this, that, or this item is profitable to craft right now. But if I do, then obviously everyone who watches the video or hears me say that is interested in doing that craft would then be crafting that item, which would heavily diminish the profits of that specific craft. So I cannot never tell you what item to craft. Even so, I have made videos in the past, like showing you guys how to make the Spectre helmet, for example, which is still a profitable craft, where you basically spend X amount of currency to create an item, which is then worth more than what you invested it to. So instead, I'll try to explain the approach of doing profit crafts. So basically, it's what I mentioned before with a company manufacturing a product. That's what you do in game when you profit craft. You are creating an item and then you're selling it, and your profits is basically the difference between the end game product that you're creating and the currency you're selling it for. So if I create an item for 5 Exalteds and I put the item up for sale for 15x, that's not a 10 Exalted profit. That's 10 Exalted profit if it sells for that price. And usually what I do is if the item doesn't sell within a few days, I would lower it, and I would lower it and lower it and lower it till it sells. And I try to make sure that I keep track of how much currency I spent on crafting it, so that I make sure that I never go below that price. So in very bad situations, I could get my currency back, and in some bad situations, I only make a little bit of currency. But what I try to do is find items for builds that are popular to be played, or items that are barely being crafted in the game, that are some build sparks up on Reddit that becomes popular. You can craft items for those to, you know, follow the market basically, which is what you would do when it comes to buying stocks, for example, in real life. So why do I then profit craft if there's still a small risk that I might just get my currency back? If you have currency in your stash, that currency is doing nothing. It's just sitting there. And this is the biggest problem with it. People stock up on currency and then just let them sit in their stash. I have 1,000 Exalteds. I can't really keep up with crafting more, so I just stopped bothering it. Despite this, we have several items that I have crafted that is up for sale, and I sent some to one of my moderators who has a couple of rings for sales as well. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you make sure that your currency is making currency for you. So basically, money is making money. It takes money to make money. Everyone has heard that saying, and that goes in real life as well as in games. In real life, it's a bit harder because there's a lot of other things doing it. We're talking about stock markets and all those things, so we're not going to go into making money in real life. In games, this is very easy. If you have 5 Exalteds and you want to purchase an upgrade for your build that costs 5 Exalteds, should you do it? I mean, if the upgrade is significant, maybe you would argue that that would be a significant upgrade and you want to do it for that reason. Sure, go ahead. But what happens once you've done that? If all you have is 5 Exalteds and your upgrade costs 5x, once you've done that, you're in a situation where you have nothing. The only way for you to make currency at that point would then be to farm currency. You never want to be in a position where you farm for currency. Now, there are ways to do this, obviously, by juicing maps up, which obviously takes some investment. In the current league, it's very popular to do the high tier, like tier 19, 100% delirium maps, dropping headhunters all over the place. Now, if you're doing that, then you shouldn't be in a position where you would have use of this video. However, for those people that are more casual players or new to the game, they might have a better use of the video where they do not invest at 5 Exalted. And instead of investing 5 Exalted in an upgrade to your build, you would then use those 5x to generate more currency, either through profit crafting or flipping something. Take those 5x, buy, for example, Essence of Horror, probably something else, as a lot of people might be doing it after watching this. Purchase an item or flip items, and then once you've invested those 5x, once those sells, maybe a day, 2, maybe 3 days later, you have basically gained an interest rate on that currency. So instead of having 5x in your stash, sitting and rotting, doing nothing, it's like putting money under your fucking pillow, and it's just gonna sit there, and it's gonna decrease in value because of inflation. However, inflation in games goes up and down quite heavily. The Exalted Orbs have been very volatile lately. So instead what you do is you invest it into something that is then going to gain a profit for you when it sells. That's what you want to do. And that's how you make currency in the end. That's how I make currency every league, is I barely want to trade. Every time I get currency, I throw that currency into investing into something, and then I let them sit in my stash. And some items can take up to a week to sell, but when they sell, I might have invested, say, 20x into an item, and that item would then sell for 25x. That's still a 5x auto profit for me actually having that currency in an item in my stash that would then generate more than what it cost me to make, rather than having those 20x in my stash for those days, doing nothing. So that's something that's very important to say, and I think a lot of people in the game is falling into this trap where, oh, I can now buy an item that costs all my currency. I can finally upgrade my character, and then they immediately do that, and then they complain that they don't have currency the day after because they used all of their currency. So that's the way I make currency. It's very simple to do this. And the thing is, what I try to do is I try to find like brackets. So in my case, I have enough currency to do whatever I want at this point, which is very comfortable. But before you get to this point, what I do is I will only invest currency that is up to my character upgrades when I have more than I will use for the sake of profit crafting. Other than that, I will always try to craft for profits, or in other cases, if you don't feel confident or comfortable with crafting, you can always go with flipping currencies. Other approaches is obviously depending on leaks. You can sell bestiary stuffs, which is something people tend to not do by saving the beast you get. See if we have any rare ones. For example, the Pharaoh Wolf Alpha is a little bit of currency. By taking that wolf out, that's another 15 chaos, 17 chaos per wolf. That's one example. Implicits are being Pharaoh Frost Helions, so you can search for Pharaoh Frost Helions when it comes to bestiaries, and these are worth what's nothing actually. Holy shit! Oh, that was reroll. My bad. That was surprising. Okay, imprint. That's why I'm failing. There we go. Crazy Camaro. Crazy Camaro. There we go. For example, this one here is 90 chaos. If I wanted to make more currency, I can do that. However, these are things that are always available to us, right? However, in new leagues, there is usually other ways to make currency. For example, in harvest crafting, all you can do is set up harvest craft. We have forbiddenharvest.com, for example. It's a perfect way to do when it comes to selling crafts. And I mean, I currently have 6 full tabs, almost starting on the 7th tab, filled with crafts, and all of these are worth, I don't even know, several Exalteds worth of crafts by just setting them up for sale and then selling crafts, which is also a really effective way to make currency in the current league. But these things goes up and down, so some leagues are worth less because you can't really sell the services. However, you have another approach of services, which is something I'm usually utilizing quite well in the early stages of the league. And that is service runs in the form of killing endgame bosses like the Deep Delving Alls, which we're doing at the moment. Awakener kills, Shaper Uber Elder. All of these things are... There's always a demand for people that don't have a build that can do it or don't feel comfortable running it themselves. And therefore they go to a person to purchase the kill instead. And this is easiest done through poeparty.com. It's a new website which most people have, well, a lot of people started using recently. So you got plenty of services where you can access and find like your lab carries. I have some craft service, boss killing services from other people. And this website's rather new, so that people will have vouchers on the side. And this is great to either find people to do the service for you or to sell your own services. And this is where the argument where that 5 Exalted investment to upgrade your character might make your character able to do the services reliably and comfortably, then that would be an investment for you to be able to run services, which you will then have to verify and determine yourself if that's worth doing. And that's what it all comes down to. You have to decide and be smart with your investments. And that's the same thing in real life. It all comes down and boils down to what you want to do with your currency. Do you want to let it rot in your stash doing nothing with no interest rate and just pray the inflation of the Exalted Orbs is going to help you make more currency? Yeah, sure, be my guest. Another tip would be to look at the market. We know that Exalted Orbs are rather cheap early in the league, and then they go up around 150, maybe even up to 200 chaos per Exalted. So buying Exalted Orbs when they're below the number you think they're going to go up to is a good way to do it, and then sell them. The Exalted Orbs have been very volatile. When they were down to 130 or something this league, you could buy a lot of Exalted Orbs, and then they're back up on 150 now. There's a lot of currency to be made in terms of flipping these things if you want to. It's not something that I would recommend doing unless you have extensive experience with the game, at which point you might not have used this video. Another thing to do when it comes to PvP, I just want to mention that as well, actually. You can find people to play with, like aura bots and whatnot. You can look for people to look for an aura bot or curse bots for whatever party plays, so you don't have to go through the idiocracy that is the in-game public party list and try to find people in this mess. I actually have a website for that. I'll link it in the description below as well, actually. But yeah, that's basically how I make currency. It's very simple. I don't think I have anything else to mention. It just boils down to don't be a fucking stupid ass retard with your currency. Don't waste it for nothing. Don't let it sit in your stash rotting. make investments, let the currency work for you, and you have all the videos and all the details to how to do this in the descriptions below. If you guys think that I've missed anything that new players or casual players might have use of, please do let me know in the comments below to make sure that we can help people out that falls into this noob trap where they waste all the currency and suddenly they're like, oh, but I didn't drop an Exalted Orb. I dropped 1x today. Last one was like 4 or 5 days ago. You don't drop Exalted Orbs. You make them by doing these things. That's how you make currency. Yeah, that's basically it. Selling gems is a good suggestion. I saw in the Twitch chat for Pulverizer. Selling gems is another great thing we can actually add. In your off-slot weapons, you can have gems that you're leveling, which I'm not bothering actually. Put some gems in here, level them to 20, and sell them. That's also another way to do that. It's not going to impact the way you play. Just smack in 6 gems in off-slot weapons, and when they're 20, sell them. Or corrupt them for 21 and sell that. There's so many different ways to make currency. But basically the purpose of this video is to provide you with information and knowledge of how to make currency without you farming. So selling gems requires you to play the game, which you might want to do as well, obviously. Flipping, yeah, you might want to trade a bit more than actually play the game if you want to do that heavily. So that might be a bit boring, which is why I don't do it. Profit crafting I enjoy, but the thing is I just make an investment. So I spend some time crafting an item and then I play the game, and eventually someone's going to whisper me and buy it, and that's how I make my currency. Previous videos I've uploaded in the last few weeks, I've made some sales during the video. It's like people just whispers me with one of the items I have up for sale. Just rinse, repeat the process. Every time I sell an item that has been a profitable craft, I then look at what the item sold for, compare it to the amount of currency I crafted it for, check the difference. If the difference is big, then the first thing I do, literally minutes after I sell it, is to craft another one. That's all the tips I have. That's it. It's simple, and I make it out to sound a lot more easier than it is, because crafting obviously requires a lot of information, which is why my crafting videos is there to help you out with that. And I hope this guide or video, I don't even know what to call it, has been useful for any of you guys. If you feel like I've missed any tips and tricks for new players, let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this and more. Until next time, stay safe and keep rocking.